gonna come hang out with me, Toby? Welcome. Excuse me. Welcome to my Death Note sketchbook. Who here has ever had the thought, I want to have a Death Note sketchbook? I know I have, because when I was younger, I watched this sketchbook tour from this artist. I think I looked it up and he's going by Bad Bad Liam now. He used to go by Bad Bad Judy. That used to be his Instagram handle too, and I looked up his Instagram handle. I could not find it, so I will link his YouTube channel down below. But basically, he did a Death Note sketchbook, and ever since then, I've wanted to do a Death Note sketchbook. But I used to use like exclusively alcohol markers, and like the paper here, like this is the type of paper that if you used alcohol markers on it, it would just like go straight through. I was like, I guess I'll never be able to do a Death Note sketchbook, but then I started to use acrylic markers, which don't bleed. Spoilers for the end of this. And so yeah, I was like, I'm gonna finally commit to doing a Death Note sketchbook. And it is falling apart, and I've noticed that some of the pages are starting to get fucked up. So I wanted to go ahead and film a sketchbook tour of it so I can like preserve it, you know? The first few pages are just like how to use the Death Note, like the rules, so I didn't draw on any of them. So this is the first page. This is Pinkamena. I kind of use her as my mascot, and I drew her like kind of in this like vacation fit because whenever I started this Death Note sketchbook, I was actually on vacation in Costa Rica. So I started it in August. It looks like it took me 1.5 years to finish this, but actually it only took about 1 year. So basically I was still using this sketchbook. I was still filling it up at the time. I was like here and I was like filling up like 4 pages a day, but I thought I was about to finish the sketchbook, so I was like, I'm not gonna bring it with me to Costa Rica and then be out of sketchbook paper. And I think I just like really wanted to start the Death Note sketchbook, so I brought the Death Note sketchbook and I did like 3 pages, and then I got back to America and I didn't touch either one of these sketchbooks for like months because like school had started and I just wasn't drawing. Anyways, so I didn't actually really start this until January-ish, but it just says August. So this took me about 1 year to do. I will eventually probably film a sketchbook tour for this sketchbook. I just don't know when. I'm gonna kind of skip over this first page because it's just like a collage of stuff that I got in Costa Rica. So this is kind of like actually the first page that I drew. I only got 4 hours of sleep, and it was like 4 hours of barely sleep, like waking up and falling asleep and waking up and falling asleep. So I was feeling really tired. So I drew Pinkamena. And I guess because I was feeling so tired, I ended up writing the wrong name for this guy. His name is Gavin, not Devin. But yeah, these are just some of my OCs. I said biblically accurate Amira because I had just drawn her this sketchbook. It was like my first time ever drawing her, and I accidentally used like the wrong color here, and I just like tried to commit to it, but I'm like, that's just not my vision for what she looks like. This is my vision for what she looks like. So this is biblically accurate. And then I did a self-portrait like I like to do sometimes. I just like went into the bathroom and just snapped a photo of me, like trying to get like an objective view of what I look like, because I, like most people, have body dysmorphia. I have no clue what I look like. I feel like I kind of have like a K-pop vibe. I had a bigger K-pop haircut at the time, so that makes sense. Somebody suggested to warm up drawing the entire alphabet in ASL, and I thought that was a fun idea, and I like some of these hands. Don't look at other hands. This is January. Like that was I literally did like this page in Costa Rica, and that was it. The first few pages have like this Japanese text on it at first. The later pages don't, but I really liked trying to like embrace how it looks with it, like not trying to make the pages look super polished and finished. Just like I really wanted my sketchbooks to return to being like sketchbooks. I feel like I got into this bad habit of like trying to make every single page look perfect, and I just really wanted to like explore and like be a lot more loose with my style. This does not look good on camera. Honestly, the colors look really weird on camera. I might try to fix it in post. This is my OC Percy. I want to create a visual novel out of his storyline. I've written the entire visual novel, but I just feel like I could do better. I kind of sped through the entire storyline and didn't give you any time to like actually like get to know any of the characters, because I was like, if I make this short, it'll be easier to make a visual novel out of it. But I feel like you don't really get the emotional moments because we sped through every single scene. So I want to go back and like kind of like sit down and actually like take the time to rewrite the story, because I really like his story. So this is the song Fortnite. I won't get too much into it, but this guy's name is Percy. This is his cousin Will, and Percy is in love with this girl named Mary. Actually, the storyline is kind of complicated. I need like an elevator pitch version of it. So just look at the character designs. Oh, and this is actually, somebody suggested drawing like an OC to your most listened to song, and my most listened to song was Learning to Warm Cold Hands. So I drew Percy. Wow, art. Long story short, the visual novels have been put on hold. I'll get back to it eventually. I was watching Project Runway instead of doing work, and I drew some of my favorite looks. I really like watching Project Runway. I have no interest in fashion design, but I think it's fun to like watch people explore art forms that I'm not proficient in, because it gives me inspiration to like work on my own art forms. Like this gave me a lot of inspiration of like fashion and such, you know? This is like kind of the continuation of this page. So it's like,
I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic. All of this to say, I hope you're okay, but you're the reason.
There's this one Swimo cover of it where it's two different guys singing, and it's like, that is Will and Percy's song. So the thing, the big part of the visual novel is that there's an EP that accompanies it that has like songs about them. None of the songs fit them as well as Fortnite does though, but only like that specific cover of Fortnite. This is kind of a reference drawing. I mean, all these drawings I like used references for, but I found this reference of a guy, I think it was like Brad Pitt or like one of those famous actors, and he was like, he had like a lollipop in his mouth, but he had the stick in his mouth instead of like the lollipop, the like sweet bit. And I once drew a character with a lollipop, but I like forgot how lollipop works, so she was like with the stick in her mouth instead of the lollipop part. And so whenever I saw that guy, I was like, oh my god, I have to draw it. And yeah, I kind of like the art style here. Sometimes I feel like I can do the like realistic art that's also cartoony, and I can blend the two styles in a fun way, but a lot of times I feel like it doesn't work, and I don't really know what makes this work. And then like I'll show you later some pages where I try to do the same thing and it just doesn't work for some reason. This is a fan art page of Infinity Train, and also kind of an example of how the pages are starting to get fucked up, because this is what the page looked like whenever I first drew it and I posted it on Tumblr. Infinity Train is my favorite show. It's super underrated, and I want to see more fan art of it sometimes. So I was rewatching Infinity Train, and I drew a bunch of the characters. I bought some Infinity Train stickers from, I think Paper Koifish is the name of the user. I'll put a link in the description for the Tumblr. But yeah, most of the stickers are gone now, but I put this one in my sketchbook, so it's immortalized. On my other channel, I'm doing this series. I wanted like a little like me to pop up. Well, technically I'm playing a character in the series, but I wanted like a little character to pop up like while I'm talking to like while I'm explaining things. So I was kind of designing what that should look like. I wanted it to be like a little clown on the shirt, and came up with this little clown guy that's just clowning around. Some drawings of Halsey that I kind of gave up on this one. I don't know why I made the fingers so tiny. Like, why didn't I just make them bigger? I just gave up. I don't know. Sometimes your art is just not working with you, and you just gotta accept it. So this is another page that I was just like sketching. This is a character that I wanted to draw and design. He's from a scrap story. I always give all of my characters the exact same design, where I give them curly black hair and freckles. But he was supposed to have like glasses, and that was like his whole bit, is that he had like these very particular glasses, and I was gonna draw him so I could draw the glasses, and then I didn't draw the glasses. So what was the point of this? And this is a little drawing. I think I actually did this in class and then I taped it in, but this is my OCs Ian and Addie, and I love them so much. I really like that drawing. If y'all hear bells in the background, that is my brother's cat. He is playing right behind me. Bro, leave the wire alone. We're just gonna have that background noise. But yeah, and then these are just like a bunch of sketches. I was working on a redraw, and for the redraw, the characters are supposed to be like from like old Nordic time. But like every time you look up Nordic fashion, like old Norse fashion, I feel like you always end up with like medieval Norse culture. And this is supposed to be like pre-Roman Norse culture. And I just don't know like what search terms to use to get that result. Cause like, I think that Skyrim like really like just made it so that everybody thinks of like medieval Norse. So I think like at this point, like I just have to cut my losses and be like, they're supposed to be pre-Roman Nordic fashion, but maybe they just look generally Nordic. And I don't think that like, okay, yeah, maybe some like Reddit bro is gonna be like, their fashion is so inaccurate because actually, well, I don't know what search terms to use, sir. I know that Google is free, but I'm bad at Googling it. I was hanging out with a pagan friend of mine, and most of my pagan friends are Nordic pagans. I feel like that's the most common type of paganism. But anyways, he was like, let me draw your name in like Norse. So he did. I was like, that's relevant to this page. I'm gonna tape it in. These are some 1-minute gestures. I started doing like a lot of gesture drawings to like warm up. That's like what the final pages are. They're just like pages of me doing like warm up gesture drawings. I like it because I don't want to warm up. Whenever I draw, I just want to start drawing, but I have to like sit down and warm up or else my drawings look bad. And I also don't want to do any sort of studies ever. So I feel like doing gesture drawings, it's like really fast, and it like forces me to warm up, and also forces me to like actually practice anatomy. And I think that I do need to lock in sometimes and like actually draw like full anatomy instead of just gestures, but I think it's really helpful to train yourself to get the kind of gist of a body down really fast. I wish I knew where my current sketchbook is because I feel like I've gotten a lot better at doing like little gestures. This is a page that I had a vision for and the vision did not come through. This is also when the overseer's brain rot really starts. This is that song Feel Anything by like Naughty. I can't remember. It was like whenever the song was like kind of viral on TikTok. And this is the same character. This guy, his name is Ambition. In my universe, a lot of times whenever characters die, they end up being reborn and looking very similar or like exactly the same most of the time. So this is like 2 of his different incarnations. And I had like a vision and I had this reference of this guy like sitting back in a chair and like looking super moody, but then I didn't actually want to like draw like a whole body, so I kind of like zoomed way in. But then it just kind of looks like he's looking to the side. Like it didn't give what I needed it to give. And then this is just like edgy. And I also feel like the colors are wrong. Anyways, I don't want to sit here and complain about my art. It didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. Like, I wanted it to look like, I wanted it to be like this page, and then it ended up like this page. I think that I was just like not in the mood to draw. I was just trying to force myself to draw, which is never a good idea. This is what I mean. This is kind of more what I was talking about when I'm like trying to draw realistically, but kind of cartoony still, and like this just doesn't work as well as the other one. But Taylor Swift has a song called The Prophecy, and I thought that it really fit him throughout his incarnations. Spoilers. This is gonna have some spoilers in it, guys. I say guys as if like anybody's watching this video. This is kind of my secret channel. If you're a stranger coming across me for the first time, this is kind of a secret channel, and I'm not like super famous on some other channel, but I do have a teeny tiny audience that was begging me to post a sketchbook tour, and I refused to. I think it's just kind of chic not having a ton of like YouTubery videos on my main channel. Like I want my main channel to be very curated. I don't want to be like a personality. Like I don't want to be like posting like hashtag relatable content and like here's how to do things and tutorials, like posting videos, a new video every Friday. Like that's not like my vision for that channel. Like I really don't want to do the YouTubery thing anymore. Like I'm doing this series and I want it to be like highly polished and yeah, curated. I don't know. I want it to be very intentional. Like a sketchbook tour just doesn't vibe with my vision for the channel. So I'm posting it here on my secret channel. But then also like this sketchbook tour features characters that like are not part of this universe, and I kind of want to keep it separated. So anyways, that's my long-winded explanation for why I'm not posting a sketchbook tour on my main channel. I'm gonna post it on this channel where 12 people will see it. Shout out if you're one of the 12 people. Also, somebody needs to unsubscribe from me immediately, okay? I used to have 23 subscribers, and that's my favorite number. But now some fuckers subscribed to me, so I have 24 subscribers. One of you is getting evicted. You have until the end of the week. I need to not say that, actually. This is Ambition again. For a while, I was drawing it where he has, like, one strand of hair right there. But I actually don't like that because he has a scar right there. You can't see the scar when he does it like that. And maybe he does it like that on purpose. I didn't just realize that whole time it was out of frame. That's so fun, actually. Anyways, this is character Ambition. This is a character Wisdom. They have like a whole frenemies sort of thing where like they hate each other, but then spoilers, they are working together. But I thought the song Loathing fit them really well. I was also trying to, I just redesigned this character, so I was trying to draw it. And this is a page that like came back and added stuff too. Like it was just blank for a really long time. This sketchbook's kind of out of order. That's why I keep on putting the dates down because I hate it whenever my sketchbooks are out of order. I think it was Sam Does Art that he did a video where he was like drawing like 100 hands or something. And I wanted to see how many hands I could draw, and at some point during the video to make it like go faster, he like did contour drawings of hands, and I really like drawing contour drawings because I'm lazy. So I did a bunch of hands, and I think I did 31. Yeah. And then I highlighted my favorites, but this one's also really good. I don't know why I didn't highlight that one. I don't know where this apple came in. I mean, it is a Death Note sketchbook. And then this is another page in my sketchbook. Who would have predicted? Yeah, I think that I felt a spider moving around on my tongue, and I kept on going to the mirror and like sticking out my tongue and like really like examining it, trying to figure out where the spider was, and there was no spider on my tongue, but I couldn't get it through my head. Like my OCD was like, there is a spider though, I feel a spider, there's a spider, you're gonna swallow it. So I drew like a contour drawing of like this girl's face with like a spider and no tight spider on your tongue. I don't know, it feels like a piece where I'm trying to be artsy, but it kind of ends up being fartsy, you know? Like there's a couple of drawings in these next few pages that are cut out from like this like printed piece of paper that I was drawing on. My sister went to Europe and she had to leave at like 3 or 4 a.m. and she was like really dreading waking up that early. So like to support her, me and my other sister, we like stayed up until 4 a.m. and like we stayed up drawing, and I drew her character. This is her character, Tamo. That's actually my biological son. I actually love her character so much. I need her to lock in and like make his story because I just really like her character. But yeah, so this is my character Jamie. And then this is one of her incarnations, Curiosity. And I put her here because I had started to draw a Curiosity here, and I had this vision for like filling up this entire page with drawings of Curiosity, but then I don't know if you can tell, but I redrew her face like 18,000 times, and I finally just gave up on it, and I didn't feel like drawing it anymore. But then I heard the song Party For You by Charlie XCX for the first time. Now, did I rewrite this character's entire backstory just to fit Party For You? Maybe I did. I didn't entirely rewrite. I rewrote aspects of her story, and then rewriting those aspects inspired me to make new aspects of her story. So her story has changed quite a bit. The like core of it is still the same. And then on Halloween, I was dressed up like a clown, and there was this like gay guy dressed up as a cop that was giving out these like violation slips as like his bit. And he told me that I was getting one for clowning around because I was dressed like a clown. And I thought that was cute, and I stuck it in here, and it used to be taped, and I guess it just came out. So yeah. So while I was keeping the sketchbook, I was in college, so a lot of times I'd be doodling in class and not necessarily doodling in my sketchbook. So I just cut out a lot of doodles from class, and I put them on this page, and I really like how I did it. This is the cutest drawing of Despony and Paradox that exists. And this is also a really cute drawing of Stephanie. This drawing made me want to draw Stephanie, and I tried to draw her digitally, and it just didn't turn out as well as that drawing did. Sometimes it'd be like that. I was working on this drawing for a album cover. This character is called Gail, and in her album, she's kind of like a canary in a coal mine sort of thing. And then there's like a lot of story about sexism and like women. She's wearing like a scold's bridle, which is this punishment that they gave like women in the medieval times, where they had to wear this thing that would make them so that they can't speak. But she is their canary in a coal mine, right? The idea of like a canary in a coal mine is that the canary will sing until you get to an area with gas in it, and if the canary stops singing, then that means that you're in a dangerous place and you need to leave, right? So if you try to nuzzle your canary in a coal mine, it's gonna lead to the death of like everybody. So that's kind of like symbolically a lot of shit that was going on in the album cover. And like also there's like these like well manicured lawns, if you will, behind her, and that's like a whole thing in the album. But yeah, so I was just like finishing up the album, and I actually like vlogged the entire process of finishing up the album. I like to vlog my life sometimes and just keep them to myself. I don't think I ever finished editing the vlog, but I should really go back and do that. Oh my god. So this is for my other universe, my other baby. I watched Midnight Mass. Shout out to Midnight Mass. And I got like really obsessed for a hot second about the idea of like angels that are vampires / vampires that are angels. In Midnight Mass, it's like they're just vampires, but because like, okay, spoilers, because they were found by a priest, he's like, they're angels, but they don't really look at like anything like angels, and they just function exactly like vampires. So I had this vision for like this alien race that like looked like angels, but functioned like vampires. So like this guy's kids get like bitten and turned into like, they look again like angels, but then they function like vampires. But I really need to stop doing this because I want his story to be like their universe, this whole universe. I want it to be like very grounded in reality, and I keep on like, because I think I'm just inclined to like magical storylines, I keep on like trying to add magic into their universe, and then I'm like, no, pull back, it doesn't belong there. This also, okay, so this is actually my second time filming this sketchbook tour. The first time I filmed it, it was nighttime, so I used the flash on my camera, and it just caused like this huge glare that I didn't notice until I was editing. And I just had like really low energy, so I'm like, this is take 2. But while I was doing it, I realized that I low-key just accidentally stole his design and gave it to a different character. This is, okay, wait, maybe I can keep better this way. This is one of those characters that's been through like 18 million different designs, but I finally decided on this design where he has like this specific hair. He's supposed to have freckles. I guess I forgot about the freckles. But then we'll get to it later, but I literally just stole it for a different character. I did not realize that. But it's fine. I'll just redesign this character. So yeah. But yeah, I really liked this guy. They have like a whole like homoerotic. It's when you're homies and you're homo and it's erotic. There's some lore going on. There's crazy lore going on in this story. I also did not give them their freckles. I forgot about freckles. But yeah, so this page was actually blinked for a long time and it came back. These 4 characters make up a little gang called the Trouble Suit, which is actually what my series on my other channel is about. And I was trying to design like what they should look like. I had like this thing where I was like, okay, so she's blue and she's like reddish pink and he's orange. Like this character has to be like green or something, even though traditionally he has been pink. And I was like, I need to like lock in and make his design more green. But then I was like, Actually, fuck that. I'm just gonna keep him being pink, and I actually don't fucking care. And I think that that was the move. Like, sometimes you just gotta say fuck it. This is Art Fight 2025. This is some characters that I drew for that. And then I kind of filled the spaces with more doodles from this same day. And then these are like the two big ones that I did. This is actually my sister's OC and my brother's OC. Again, this is Tamo. I love Tamo so much. I actually drew Tamo again more recently, and this is what it looks like. That's my son. That's my son right there. That's my biological son. And that's like kind of what I've been saying lately. I don't know why I say that. But yeah, this character of my brother's, he was complaining that like he has a bunch of characters on Art Fight, but for whatever reason, everybody just drew Kitty. And I was like, I'm about to do the funniest thing in the world, so I also drew Kitty. Okay, so this is back to the trouble suit. I wanted to draw like a whole page of every single one of the trouble suits. His name got changed to Journey. That's a whole, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, I think that was coming apart. Fun fact about these pages though is that like they're kind of redraws, kind of. How many times can I say kind of? In this sketchbook, I had the idea to draw like all the different characters to like a single color. So this is kind of a similar vision. This character used to have pink hair, so I drew him with pink hair. But in his old page, look at the improvement. I don't know. If there's no improvement, lie to me. And his old page, I drew him with orange hair because it's supposed to be orange themed. And forever since then, everybody has always been telling me that he looks better with orange hair. And whenever I actually like sat down and drew them and like started drawing them together, I'm like, he actually does look better with orange hair. So now he has orange hair. But yeah, so I wanted to draw like a little meme pose of each one of them. So this is like Journey's page. This is like Paradox's. Peep the improvement. Again, if there is no improvement, just lie to me. I really love this one where it's like, imagine her with white lashes. That's still technically canon. I just never draw that. I think you can actually see the improvement on this page. Bump, bump. You see? I'm better at drawing now. I really like how this page turned out, actually. And then Lucid's page, which is the character that I definitely stole the design. Because this is like me designing what they should look like, kind of. Reimagining some of their designs. Oh, wait, hold on. But, his character design has changed so much. He also is supposed to have freckles. I was not drawing any of the freckles. The freckles don't exist in this universe. The universe that this sketchbook 4 exists in. And this is the deluxe version of this album. I did that one drawing and I was like, yep. I just had like such a vision for what the deluxe version of the album was gonna look like. I didn't need to design much. And then I got new markers and I was playing Town of Salem. I'm not getting into that. And this is my boy. This is actually my biological son. This is my favorite boy. I love this man so much. This is my like favorite OC. So his name is Evod. This is not really what he looks like. This is what he looks like. But this is the first time I ever drew him like this right here. What? He looks like a horse. But basically I have this bad habit of writing like really passive characters where they're just like, I'm sad and bad things keep happening to me. And they're like really not entertaining to like follow. I was watching this YouTuber, Frankie Shelf, I think. I love just listening to Frankie tell me a story about a book I'm never gonna read. But he likes to do stories that are about like obsessive characters that are just like obsessed with achieving some sort of goal. And I'm like, that's what I need. I need a character that is like obsessed. Somebody is like just totally dedicated their entire life to their dream. And I came up with Evod and I have so much love in my heart for him. I want to do something with Evod's character. I know that I said that I'm posting this sketchbook tour on this channel because I want to keep like these OCs separated from the Overseers, but low-key, if the Overseers series goes well, like if the format works and people actually like are like, this is a good way to tell a story, whenever it's done in like 18 years, I want to go and like actually tell Evod's story in the same way. I have written down, I don't actually know, future me, check the word count on the document about Evod's story, peep that. I've written a lot about him and I'm not done. I've not gotten through everything in his storyline. Anyways, I'm talking on this page for too long. I don't know if that part of his lore is canon anymore. So basically with him, so the thing is, I don't know what to say. I should have turned the page at one point and shut off this page because I love it. That's all I have to say about him. Yeah, he's a celebrity. He's so emo. I love him. These are more characters from his universe. This is like his disaster situationship. And he's like evil. And this is his daughter who has issues of her own. Her name is Freyvet, I think.
I'm a good actress. Look at the medals I've won for you.
And then this is,
I just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight.
which is actually where his name comes from, because in the name it's Josie, but I was like, Joes, to make it gay. Oh, they're like aliens. Okay, so whenever I first filmed the sketchbook tour, at the end, I just like went on a whole rant explaining their entire story, and I think I'm gonna do that again, but I'm gonna wait till the end, so stay tuned for that. This is Tasty? I know how to pronounce my own characters' names, but that's her mom. So, oh my god, that's spoilers. That's getting blurred because that's technically a spoiler for the story, and I do hypothetically want to do something with their story one day. I have this, so again, the Overseers, they're like an alien race. Most of my stories have some sort of aliens in it. I have like this vision in my head of what their fashion looks like, and I was really trying to explore it. I think that like flat necklines is really popular for like men, and then like dipped necklines is really popular for women. I just like really wanted to be like white and flowy and like Roman-esque. So yeah, that's kind of me drawing some like drawings of what I think their fashion would look like. And then these are two characters from the Overseers universe. This is Energy and Addiction. Addiction is Energy's daughter. Peter, the song Peter works for her so freaking well. Over the course of the past few years, once I actually sat down and started to write out the entire Overseers story, I was like, damn, Energy is such an important character, and I've started to like really fall in love with her character. For me, at least, I really think it's so important for me to like understand characters, and like sometimes I will write out the entire storyline. Like, okay, so like in the last episode that I just did on in my series, we were introduced to this character named Finder, and literally I just like sat down and wrote out Finder's entire storyline to like make sure I like really understood like where he was at in his journey whenever we got to this episode. So when I was drawing this, I was like writing out Energy and Addiction's entire storyline. There are actually, it's so long that I actually have not finished either of those documents. It's so long, and it's so fun too because like their storyline like overlaps with other characters. I love writing a scene from one character's perspective and then going through and writing it from the other character's perspective, and a lot of times I have to like go back and like change the first one because once I get to that scene and the other character's perspective, I have a better grasp of like what they've been through and like why they do the things that they do. So sometimes they have different reactions to things. That's a whole rant that has nothing to do with this though. I'm just really excited about the Overseer series that I'm doing on my other channel. And also when I wrote out the entire storyline, I was like, this is Curiosity's first incarnation who didn't used to exist, and I'm like, it just makes so much more sense to have her exist. This is not the best drawing of her, but this is the song Who's the Other Girl.
Who's the other girl who's gonna put on the red dress? Scarlet letter on her chest. Can't love with this on a conscience. Tell me who's the other girl.
I love that song, and it fits them so well. I love pitting women against each other over a man. Hey, don't take that out of context. That was a joke. Anyways, and then this is Evod again to that song On Purpose. That song had like 1,000 listens whenever I listened to it first. And then I think it has a lot more now, but the album cover for that was so cool looking that I had to draw Evod in the same way because I love him. Oh, okay, so this is the last page because the rest of it is just gesture drawings, and some of them have body parts showing that I probably can't show on YouTube. Fuck. So this is Evod again. So one thing about me is that I love Addison Rae, and I won't apologize for that. Her song Fame is a Gun is gotta be like my top 10 favorite songs of all time. I love this song so much. But when I first started listening to it, I really didn't have any characters that it fit. Like it kind of fit Curiosity, so it was in her playlist for a long time, and she would be kind of who I thought about whenever I listened to the song. But I just didn't really have a good character that it fit, and then I came up with Evod, and it fit him so perfectly. Do y'all know the feeling when you have an OC that you love so much that you want to rip your skin off when you think about them, and a song that you love so much that you want to rip your skin off when you listen to it, and then you realize that the two go together perfectly? It feels like Satan made Addison Rae put out this song to torture me specifically. I'm very normal about my OCs, if you can't tell. Oh, that's been out of frame. That's fine. I didn't need it in frame. So I really wanted to make a whole animatic to the song for Evod. but I'm like, I have other things that I need to lock in on. So I was like, I can't do that. So my compromise with myself was to do this full page spread, but it just did not turn out at all like I wanted it to. I think that I was trying to draw too small, and I just don't do well drawing too small. Anyways, so that's the end of the sketchbook. So now I'm just going to tell you the entire plotline of Evodi's story because I want to tell somebody. So basically, Evodi comes from a world, he doesn't live on Earth or anything. It's like this entirely alien world where his planet, like hundreds of years ago, was taken over, as most planets in his universe have been, by this alien race called the Veyrain. She is a Veyrain, so this is kind of what the Veyrain look like. I kind of imagine them looking like albino Asian people. The Veyrain are like obviously the privileged, and then everybody else is like, they're citizens in this empire, and they're like told that like they can, like, if they like achieve greatness and get money and fame and stuff, but functionally most of them end up like in ruin. The Veyrain, they provide like very basic food, very basic housing, basic schooling for everybody. So Evodi grows up super poor. His mom, he's like the son of a whore and a Scotsman and all that. No, like his mom is like a drug addict, and so basically he has no prospects, and he has like the most like dire, not like dire, like he has a house and he technically has food and technically has a bed, but it just like sucks, and he just spends all day watching TV essentially, and he almost never sees people that look like him on TV. He always sees like Veyrain people. But one day he's watching this, he watches a lot of like house tours, and he's watching this one house tour of just this like fabulous mansion, and the guy who owns it is this guy. His name is Sparati. He's like, oh my god, that guy kind of looks like me. And he's like, how did somebody who looks like me end up with like this, what is it, glamorous life? He's like, how did he do that? So that's how Evodi learns about something in the universe called the Allrist. The Allrist is essentially like a voluntary Hunger Games, but for adults, where you volunteer to be put in the death game, the battle royale, and if you win, you get riches. And there's like levels to it, so like every time you win one, you move up in the league, and the more you win, the more fame and money and riches you get. He won all of the Allrist, from like the rookie to the all-stars, so that's why he has like a stupid amount of money. And Evodi sees this, and he decides to dedicate his life to becoming the best ruster, which is what people who play the Allrist are called, the best ruster of all time. And he figures out that a lot of times it's not necessarily like the smartest or like the strongest person who wins. Like you think like it's a battle royale, obviously the big tough guy is gonna win every time. He learns that like it seems skewed a lot of times in the favor of whoever the fan favorite is. And he basically figures out that like the more famous he becomes and the more people want to see him survive, the better odds he has of surviving. So it's not necessarily about training his body to be like the greatest killer of all time. It's about like being the perfect celebrity. There's a lot of different strategies on how to become like a fan favorite and how to like gain favor, and basically there's two different builds. There's a bunch of different builds. There's so much lore in this universe. His last name is Lore for that reason. That's not true. Basically you can either be a hero player or a villain player, and he ends up becoming a villain player, and he knows that people love a team up more than anything. And so this guy is also a ruster, and he's also a villain player, and like his whole deal is that like he just is a violent evil sociopath. They exist in like different leagues, so they wouldn't be fighting each other at first. I'm going like way too much into detail, but I'm having fun. So Evodi is like, Joes, do you want to team up with me and pretend to be dating because we're both villains? So yeah, they do the like fake dating. Enemies to fake dating to lovers, question mark. There's a lot of shit. He's evil. Their relationship is so toxic. What about her? And what about her? Well, basically, she's a Fujoshi, and he can't keep it in his pants. Yeah, so he has 2 kids with her, and that has a whole storyline. Anyways, there's like a lot of lore with Evodi, but that's like the basics of it. Is like it's this character who goes from rags to riches, but he has to like kill people in order to do it. And yeah, it's not as fun as he thought it was going to be. Oh, and like a whole plot point is that he pretends to be this guy's son. That's like very relevant because people love legacy players. So he like pretends like this guy secretly had a son and like hid him from the public public because he's like super private, and that's Evod. Oh my god, there's so much shit with this storyline. I love him so much. I love him so much. And I hope one day I will be able to tell his story, but I don't know in what format. Maybe it'll be book series. I don't know. I think it's fun. Anyways, that's the end. That's my Death Note sketchbook. Thank you for watching the whole video, and if you are here, please unsubscribe unless I have 22 subscribers, in which case please subscribe. We're trying to keep it perfectly at 23. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.